Hello, and welcome to an amputee yoga class today. So this class, let me just fix this. All right, so you can see me and then we'll get moving. All right, so this class, I'm gonna give you adaptations for being able to be on the mat standing and also being on a chair. Oftentimes for amputees, it's a really good idea to be able to practice against the wall. Since my ability to video against my one open wall doesn't work, then I'm going to pretend that this is my wall. So that this top of the chair will be where my hand will be, and yours could be up higher if you have a hand, or if you're practicing with your prosthetic on, you could have your hand here, or if you were actually at the wall, the hand could be higher or wherever you needed it to be. Some amputees, you may want to sit on a chair, so I'll be demoing on mat and on chair as much as possible and giving you adaptations. And of course, for all amputees, a really important thing is that you're not going to put any weight on a residual limb, so that you decide. This is where you have to listen to your body. All the cautions for doing yoga apply for amputees as with everybody else. But because balance can sometimes be a challenge in different poses, then listen to your body and adapt accordingly. Just because the pose looks like this and you're not able to do that, perhaps your front leg doesn't have enough support with your prosthetic on, or if you, I'd say standing poses, most likely you'll want to do lower limb amputees with prosthetics on, maybe. But you know your body better than anybody else. I'm also going to demo the standing poses sitting on a chair so that you can do the practice if you want to start where I'm going to start, sitting on the mat. And for many, it's more comfortable to remove the prosthetic on the earth. So if you want to do that, fine. And then you can continue either on the ground or on a chair, or I'll give you time to put your prosthetic back on lower limbs, and then you can do the rest of the poses standing, and then we'll come down again. So the order will be, we'll start on the ground or in the chair. And then we'll come up to standing, and you can stay in the chair. And then at the end, we'll come back down for a gentle twist and a few minutes of Shavasana, corpse pose, the final resting pose. But you can also do that in a chair, simply sitting. So everything is going to be able to be adapted by you, or if there's certain things that you go, that's just not for me, that's fine. Don't do it. The main rule in yoga is no pain ever. So if you're moving into something and you are feeling tightness in an area, don't push it. As a matter of fact, back off. Because when you begin to feel a deeper sensation in yoga, you're probably moving into a place where you don't want to keep going. You can have sensation, which means that, I know when I first do my first downward dog of the day, my calves, I can feel them lengthening here, yeah? I'm going, I feel that I'm working, or I can feel that this one's particularly tight today. That's a sensation, noticing. But if I start to feel that this is feeling like it's being pulled too much, I back off. I reduce the angle of what I'm doing, or I'll stop the intensity. In other words, come back down, take a few breaths, and then do it next time without that same action that was causing the initiative. So yoga, it's important. It's all about you. I can teach you, but the important thing is you have to listen to yourself. No one knows their body better than you do. So that said, I'll start sitting down. So if you want to sit down, sitting, really, really important. You may not have props at home. This is a yoga blanket from, this is the same as we have in the yoga studio. And we stack them like this. We call this a yoga blanket stack. So they're stacked up like that. And so then if I fold it in half one time, now I have a nice height of size better, of a couple of inches. That's going to lift my pelvis and help to open my pelvic floor, my sit bones, my hips, and my low back. Everybody needs that. All right, so if you don't have a blanket, look for a really, really thick towel and fold it several times, or one of your sturdier blankets, a heavy wool blanket or something that will have more girth to it, more weight, more height when you fold it. The other thing that you can do is that you can find a pillow or something, a really firm pillow or one of your couch cushions, and maybe sitting on that will be a good thing. So as I'm talking, get what you need to come sit on the floor if you choose to sit on the floor. If you choose to sit on the chair, like one of your dining room chairs or any chair with a nice solid seat, okay, and you'll sit with your hips slightly forward of the chair. So let me show you what that looks like. Trying to coordinate all the props and movement. It's something new, yeah? All right, so I'm going to sit towards the front of the chair, because if I sit back, that's slumpasana, where most of us sit all day long on the computer or texting, or we're not driving in the car now, but you drive the car like that, or your big lounge chair is generally kind of like this. So we want to lift up from our sit bones. As a matter of fact, if you have, the sit bones, then you want them firmly on the chair, and you might even think of them as little feet, especially if you're a double amputee, and so your prosthetics are to the earth, then you need to be able to feel into where you're grounding through your body. So you pretend that think about it, you don't have to pretend, feel that your sit bones are like little feet, and they're anchoring you to the chair so that you can feel into the earth, and by extension, you'll feel into your legs, all right? And then as you lift up, you're gonna lift up all the way through the crown of the head. That'll give you the arch in the back, all right? Then right here on the side ribs, you're just gonna take them back just a little bit, and that's gonna line up the crown of your head over your pelvic floor, which is a lovely neutral way to be. And sometimes with amputees, you might be too lordotic, so you're going to focus on these side ribs. You're going to take them back a little more so that you don't feel anything in your low back. So that's somewhere you want to be careful. All right, so if you start to feel stuff in your low back, just come back a little bit and soften, because maybe overdoing it is what's happening. All right, so again, listening to your body. And when this is over, if you have any questions for me, you can go to my website, lucylomax.com, and there's a contact area. So send me an email, and I can answer your specific question. Okay? All right, so feet a little bit forward if you have feet. If you have prosthetics, they're going to come a little forward if that's available to you. If not, you'd be where you need to be. All right, so this is how you'll be sitting in a chair and working. At any point, if this feels like too much on your back or low back, bring yourself back a little bit, but rather than lean back, just make an attempt to be more upright. That's going to start to tone the back muscles more and your core. All right, so that's sitting on a chair. All right, so now if you're sitting on the earth, by now, hopefully, if you're taking your prosthetics off, you've had a time to do that. So you come down and sit on the blanket. All right, let me show you from the side what we're going to be doing. We're going to open the hips a little bit again. So I'm going to lean onto this left leg and grab my buttock and buttock bone on this right leg. I'm going to take my left hand up into my upper inner thigh, and I'm doing this. I'm rotating it and taking back. So I rotate the inner thigh, and then I take the hip back and set it down. And if I stretch my legs out, I can feel that this side feels longer and is kind of back. So let me show you from the side. So I internally rotate, take the hip back, set it down. That plugs the upper leg bone, if that's available to you, into the right hip. Okay? All right, so we'll do that on one side, we'll do that on the other side, and then sit where you're comfortable. You can have the legs out in front if that's better for you. You might even want to get a couple of thick towels and perhaps roll one of them if you have knees available. You may want to support the knees or the underneath of the thighs, especially if your prosthetics are off. If you need that, please feel free to use the support that helps you feel more upright. All right, and then if you're able, cross your shins if that's available to you. Now, upper extremity amputees. You sit, and what you want to think about is that wherever your amputation is, if your shoulder joint's available, and some of you may not have it, in which case you're going to open the heart. Your whole focus is, how can I open this heart center? So everybody's focus on the heart center is that. So that's your chest bone, okay? Breastbone. All right, and then these are your collarbones. So those want to be upright. And when you take those upright, the shoulder blades come on your back. All right, so for upper extremity amputees, have this as your opening. And then if arms are available to you, you're going to move from the shoulder joint, okay? So that's your shoulder joint area. That's the top of your arm, and you're going to move like so, okay? So that's how you can open up, whether you have arms, if you have a shoulder joint, and if not, we talked about that. Okay, so opening your hips. Let's just take a minute to settle in. All right, so in yoga, it's all about us on the mat, nobody else. It's just you, your mat, and being here. Of course, I'm here teaching you, but your practice is that you come inside and you first focus on your breath. So place your hands in a comfortable place. And then close your eyes if your hands are available, and if not, just lift up through the heart center. Good, and then just start to notice your breath. So we inhale and exhale through the nose in yoga because it's a slower, it slows the breath down and it's cleansing. All right, so as your eyes are closed, just take a few breaths and then just feel the sense of the breath moving in through the nose, and notice what you feel as far as what happens in your torso. Below the neck, down, depends on how you define it, from below the neck down through the pelvic floor, your whole core, yeah? And as you inhale, notice there's a sense of fullness, a sense of lifting perhaps, a sense of expanding. And then as you exhale, you just allow the softness of the body to anchor to the earth. So just feel like the tops of your shoulders soften down towards the earth, your hips soften down towards the earth. That's with your exhale. It's kind of a reminder to connect to the earth. And the inhale reminds us to breathe in the stuff of life, yeah? The life force, prana is called, or chi in Chinese medicine. So you're bringing in fresh energy, life force. With every inhale, your body uses that fresh energy. On your exhale, you simply let go of what you no longer need, that breath that you just finished with. So after a few inhales and a few exhales, you may join me or you may simply listen, but I'm going to start, I always start my practice with one Om. So we're going to chant one Om together. And again, feel free to simply listen. Om symbolizes all of life. The A, U, those three syllables that all melt together with Om. As you start with the A, you start to close your lips around the U. You bring your lips together for the And it's just like life. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's just like what's going on in life now. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Although we may not know when the middle is. It's like life, right? We don't know when the middle of our life is because we don't know when the end is. Thank goodness. Yeah. So we just celebrate all of life. All right. So if you'd like to join me, please exhale fully and then inhale. Good. Then exhale one more time. And after your next inhale, feel free to join me. And then you can bring your hands to your heart if you like. And just sense that vibration in your heart. And again, if you have hands, and if not, you'll simply lift your heart, just like we were doing. Good, then exhale. Softly open your eyes. All right, let's warm up the side body. So I'll show you on the ground first, then I'll come show you in the chair. All right, so again, upper extremity, I won't keep saying this because you won't maybe, if you have prosthetics on, of course, you're actually for seated and so forth, it may help you. But you see, at least sometimes when I see and work with amputees, having the prosthetics on for upper extremity can be helpful, but sometimes not. So again, you have to decide. All right, so on the inhale, raise your arms or whatever is accessible. Exhale, right hand down, turn the left palm up, and we're opening up this left side body. And then you just stay wherever your right hand needs to be, and you're going to get long from your left hip to your left armpit. Good, you take another breath here. You just inhale and exhale. Good, on your inhale, come back up. Take the left hand down, turn the right palm up. And again, we're opening up for breathing, more breathing. We get open in these secondary breathing muscles, and we're able to breathe a little more. So a few breaths here. Good, inhale, come back up. And now do several of those. On the inhale, you'll come up. On the exhale, you'll go to the side. Inhale up, exhale up to the side. And let me show you on the chair what that looks like. All right. So I sit, and this is called seated mountain. When you're sitting more towards the front of the chair, your feet are forward, maybe a little bit or not. Again, prosthetics or feet. Or if you don't have prosthetics on, you're going to sit back a little bit. We don't want you to fall off. All right, so come to where you're comfortable. All right, and then you can take this right hand on the chair or right arm towards the earth. And then inhale, lifting up. You're going to open up. You're not trying to go really deep. You're just doing a nice gentle opening into this left side. If you have a hand, you can hold on perhaps to the side or the back of your dining room chair. Good, then you inhale, come back up. We'll go to the left where you can hold the seat of the chair. And you don't have to go way far. The objective is not going really far. Actually, sometimes smaller, but subtler moves in yoga get bigger results. Good, inhale, come back up. So do that several times. Good. All right, then if you're on the earth, and you'll notice, I do this every time I sit because, you know, I sit all day long too, and the body wants to go back where it remembers, but that doesn't have a lot of energy going on. We're not optimally using our muscles and our bones and our breath. Yeah? So now we're going to do a gentle opening twist. And we're going to inhale, arms up, or whatever you have. Good. Exhale. Twist on the axis of your spine. You're going to twist to the right. Take your left limb somewhere to the left. If you have a hand, you can place it on the inside of the left knee. And we're going to twist to the right. So inhale, get really tall. Exhale, a gentle twist to the right. We're just warming up. Good, inhale, come back. And exhale, gentle twist to the left. And again, do 3 or 4 of those. Inhaling up, exhale, twist. Inhale up, exhale, twist. On the chair, same sort of action. Sitting where you're comfortable and safe. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. And again, whatever limb is okay. If you don't have limbs, you're going to inhale up, upper limbs. You're going to twist to the right. Inhale up, twist to the left. Good, inhale, come all the way back up. All right, so that's a seated twist to begin with. All right, and then, let me just stay here. Let me show you the next one on the chair. This will be a chair version of cat-cow pose. All right, so this is, my friend Heather does this. She's also a yoga for amputees teacher, Heather Thamer. And so this is one, I think she calls this the Nordic track sort of move with your hands. And again, if you don't have hands, you're just going to inhale. You can just, I'll show you. So you can inhale, bring your hands back if you have them, lift your heart. Exhale, bring your hands forward, and you're just gently rounding the back. It's not big here. You don't want to go like this. You want to stay more upright. So inhale and exhale. All right, let me show you from the side again. I'm getting my workout. Moving around the props. This is really cool. Okay, good. All right, so inhale, heart lifts. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. So you see it's not really big moves. On the earth, we can do the same sort of a thing. All right, so inhale, hands come back, heart lifts. Exhale back. And again, if without upper extremity, inhale, exhale. inhale, exhale. So a few cat ice cream. I've called them cat dogs. I do that still, but cat cow. All right, so that's good. All right, so now we're going to come to mountain pose. So we're now going to come to standing. So if you had your lower limb prosthetics off on the ground, and I suggest you might want to put them back on now. You have more stability, I believe, but you see. All right, so on the chair, I'll be showing you how to modify. All right, so let's come to mountain. And seated mountain is what you were just doing. You're just going to take a nice firm seat with your feet slightly forward. All right, so now to come up, and some of you may want to have a chair or a piece of furniture close to help you. And if you're able to get up off the floor, you probably don't need this guidance. But if you don't do that much and you want some guidance for a way to come up, this is a good way to do it. Again, depending on what's available to you. So I'm going to take the right foot back and then lean forward. Okay, so I have weight more on this left leg. Good. All right, then as I inhale, I start to straighten the legs, come up, so that I get my feet on the ground before I take my hand off the support here. All right, then I can take my hands to the thighs and come up. And again, that will be effective depending on what your individual situation is. For others, you might want to hold onto a chair coming up or however you normally come up. Okay, so for standing mountain, all right, so you stand, we talk about the feet and how to line them up. You may or may not be able to do that depending on your prosthetic. But if you can have your feet perhaps a little wider, you certainly don't want them close together. And again, your feet are prosthetic. I suggest maybe the outer part of your foot sort of lines up with the outer part of your hip, or maybe a little further if that makes you more stable. And here's where you can hold on to a chair or a wall. Yeah. All right, so that's mountain pose. And it's just so what we want here is that you have the weight back a little bit, and this may not work depending on your situation. We tend to sort of be more forward. So you're coming to a place where you feel more stable. So the more that you're able to, to line up the ear with the shoulder and the hip and the knee and the ankle, the better. But that's not going to be exact with prosthetics. So you come to where you feel comfortable and hold on to a chair. That's mountain. Seated mountain, just like what you were doing, okay? Or heart open if no upper extremity, and you have your prosthetics off. All right, now, so that's mountain pose. And from mountain, we're going to do a lunge, okay? So a lunge, and wherever so you need to be on a stable surface. So I have 2 mats out here, crisscrossed. So you want to be sure that you're on a solid floor that doesn't slip. And you also want to be sure that you're safe wherever you are. So sometimes if you have a mat, a yoga mat, you can put it lengthwise so that the long part of it is against the wall. And then you can do your poses with your back to the wall. Or you can be in a corner so that your back's at the wall and you have a corner to hold on to. So those are different ways to be stable. All right, so let's do a lunge. All right, so I'm going to hold on to my wall or the chair. Step the right leg forward. And maybe step the left leg back a little bit so I can bend this right knee. But what we want to be sure is that that right knee doesn't come forward of the ankle. That is really hard. All right, and depends, now stepping back depending on your prosthetic may not be able to do that so well. So instead, I'd say start from here and step your right foot forward. Then you can do a gentle lunge. Again, making sure, look down. You don't want that knee coming forward so you can't see your toes. That's not safe. And so this is a lunge, all right? And this is a lunge. So you come to a place where it feels okay. On the chair, if you're able to slide yourself forward. Now, I have my left hip back closer towards this chair. And I'm going to take the right leg back. All right, so that's a lunge, okay? And so you can do it that way, or you can be forward and then take the leg back like that. So that's a lunge. So you have a couple of different choices as to how you do it. All right, so we did lunge. Let's do it again. We had the right leg forward, and again, I'm mirroring. So I'm moving from back to front, so it's going to look different. But whatever leg you do, whether you're doing what I'm saying or what you're seeing, then just do the other side, because we do both sides. All right, so this is a lunge. Now, you want to be careful changing legs, so you kind of decrease the space between the legs if you had them back further. And again, if you need to walk forward, you can come back to, this is a version of downward facing dog on the chair. We'll talk about that in a minute. Step this left foot forward, and again, you can step it like this, and then maybe bend the left knee. All right, so that's lunge here. And on the chair, you're going to do the other side. All right, so those are a couple of lunges. They're nice to do. They start to open up the hip flexors and extenders, yeah? And so that's a really nice thing to do. All right, so now let's do lateral standing pose, warrior 2. All right, so now you definitely want to hold on to a chair. As a matter of fact, if you have a couple of dining room chairs, you can have your own 2 walls, yeah? And if you're using a chair, make sure it's grounded, either on a mat. These chairs are yoga chairs, and they have rubber underneath of them. And you want all 4 legs on it, all 4 legs of the chair on the mat, and your non-sticky surface. Or you can be sure that you have the back ones on, but you just want to be careful. You really want all 4 for your stability. I just have less room here, so okay, that's better. All right, so now I can do warrior 2, and I'll go to the right first. So I'm going to take this right foot, and I take it underneath of my dining room chair. Now, if you're at a wall, you won't be able to do that. If you're at a wall, you'll have it back a little bit. All right, then I can take this left foot back, all right, and then maybe I can bend the right knee. All right, so now the next part, now, if you have no upper, if your upper extremity is not there, your prosthetics are not on, or even if they are, you may want to do this with your back against the wall with 2 chairs on either side. All right, so some general cautions. And this is warrior 2. And again, don't let the knee come forward. You can, you only bend the knee where it's over the ankle, because if you have a knee, a residual limb, you definitely don't want to weaken it. Yeah. Then you decide, maybe the arm out, maybe the arm out. Then maybe you look over the right hand. And we take a few breaths. Good, exhale, come back down on a chair. And now do the other side. So you switch to the other side. So now you'll take this left foot forward and step the right back. Good, and maybe bend that left knee. Okay, and if you're facing the wall, you can do it that way. And then you can take one arm out and see how it does. And then the other arm out. And then maybe you play with lifting one hand off, up. Yeah, oh, that's lunge. Let's do warrior 2. My bad. I'm going to say that doesn't look right. All right, so this is warrior 2 here. And now I don't want to turn my back to you. So we'll do the same thing on the other side if you're standing. All right, now if you're seated, take your right foot out, your right limb out, and then you can stretch this left leg out straight. Or maybe you just turn up to the inside. So, take this back a little bit. So you turn, okay. Let's try this so you can see my foot. And again, it depends on your prosthetic and whether this, okay. All right, so you're going to take the right leg out, and then maybe you turn up. I'm on the inside edge of my left leg. All right, maybe that works for you, maybe not. Maybe you stay here, and you're just opening up. I'm sitting so that I'm on the corner of the chair is facing that way, lines up with my heart. Then, again, if you have limbs, you take them out, then you turn them down. Yeah? And then I can look over. In this case, we're going to the right first. All right, and if I'm here, good, exhale, bring the hands back down, bend the left knee, come in, change to the other side. So left leg's out. All right, and you come either the foot here or the foot here, or on the inside of the foot, which is going to open up this hip a little more. And then arms are out, and I look over my left hand, perhaps. Good. All right, so that's warrior 2, standing and seated. Okay. So we're just doing a few today to get you familiar. If you've not done yoga, well, I would say if you've never done yoga before and you're an amputee, I think I don't think, I know, you really need to use caution. There's a website, Yoga for Amputees, Y4A. Marsha Therese Danzig is the founder of Yoga for Amputees. She has scads of free yoga videos for amputees. So I would suggest, if you've never done it before, certainly try this with caution, but I would direct you to her site because she has lots of little snippets of different things that might help familiarize you a little bit more. But if you've done some yoga and you want to do it, here's what you can do, yeah? All right, so we just did that one. Now we're just going to do a balance pose on one leg, because this is always a challenge. And this is where I would definitely be at the wall, and I'd have my back to the wall with maybe a chair on either side or on one side, or again, in a corner, yeah? So you might have to change to the other side for the corner. All right, so again, we're going to stand in mountain upright. All right, I'm going to shift a little weight to the right. So this weight shifting, it can be a challenge, but it's how you're able to balance on one leg. So let's start just with this first. So I shift a little weight to this right leg. I'm holding on to two chairs or the wall, and maybe I lift this left leg a little. All right, and then you do the same thing on the other side. If you're sitting in a chair, all right, so you're just going to work on lifting this left leg, and you'll do a version of sort of an alternate arm and leg. Okay, this is the leg is up, so you're strengthening the quad, all right, and you want to be upright and lifting whatever's available up on the opposite side. You take a few breaths there, then you'll change to the other side. So from the side, whoops, looks like this. All right, so you stay upright. You can lean back just a little bit, but not like that. All right, you got to be upright whole time. Have to keep the arch in the back strong, and then you can take the opposite arm up. All right, so that's while we're doing tree. Then you can start with that actually, and then maybe as we do tree, you can cross one ankle above the other again. That's if you have prosthetics on or if you're able. And that's sort of, you can hold onto the chair if that's accessible, or the sides of the chair. And this is a figure 4 hip opener, and we're doing the same kind of a thing standing. All right, so you choose. All right, and then here, so now, second time. First, so you did one leg lifted, just to see how balance is. You're going to shift the weight to the right now, come up on the ball, that's this part, base of the toes, come up on the ball of the right foot, if that's available, or whatever your prosthetic will do, and then you're going to open at the hip, all right? You can stay right there. You can even have the leg lifted a little bit. That's, it's like a hip opening for sure. And then maybe you take an arm up, and maybe you see, and I wouldn't advise taking both arms up unless you know you're stable. Foot on the floor is going to give you more stability, or prosthetic on the floor if that's comfortable. Good. And then you can take one arm up or hand on your hip. Just because the full pose looks like that doesn't mean you have to do it. Okay? And then I don't want to turn my back to you, but you'll do side two. All right, so everybody do the second side if you haven't already done it. So shifting to the left. And again, if you're on the chair, you might just be lifting alternate arm and leg again. If you're standing, shift your weight to the left limb. Open up the hip if that's possible. All right, and if you are above the knee amputee, you may just think about turning up in the hip. I'm sorry, yeah, above the knee. Yeah, good. All right, and you can be there, but that's a lot less stable if this right limb's not on the earth. So just don't be taking this hand off, yeah? And maybe hand on the hip, because we're really doing a lot here. Good, exhale, bring the leg back down. All right, and then just come back to a place where it feels comfortable. All right, so we did a couple of standing poses. We've done lunges. All right, we've done a balance pose. And so I think that's good for just sort of an introductory yoga for amputees approach today. So let's come down. If you're on the chair, stay on the chair. Now you can, if you're standing and you have your prosthetics on, feel free to turn your dining room chair around and sit on the chair at the end if that's good, or if you're able to get down. All right, so this is where we'll be for this side. If you're able to come down to the earth, and again, be sure you're sitting on your blanket. Oh, that's how we'll end up. I'm sorry. So let's come down to our backs. All right. So, or you can actually just do it. You can sit here and finish up. So if you don't want to sit on a chair, you don't want to lie down, or that's not accessible to you, you can sit on the earth. That's just fine. Then you do want to sit on the blanket. Now, if you're going to lie down, stretch your legs out in front of you. This is called staff or simple seated pose. Well, it's not simple seated. It's actually staff or stick pose. Yeah. All right. Then bend your knees again, if that is accessible. And then to lower yourself down, you want to do this with care. If you don't have upper limbs, then you're going to slowly bring yourself down with the strength of your core. You may even want to come down and lie on your side as you come down so you don't put pressure on the back. Yeah. All right. Now, if you have low back issues, and I do, all right, you want to take that blanket that you were sitting on now, because we're lying down, and roll it up into a little bit of a roll and place it behind the backs of your knees or your prosthetics, which will bend the knee a little bit and help to release any pressure on the back, right? And then you lower yourself down, and you're going to lie on the earth, head on the earth, arms or prosthetics to your side. Now, if you have head or neck tightness, and many of us do, when you lie down on the earth, you want to be sure that this blanket, or a second blanket, especially if you have one behind the backs of the knees, this second blanket is going to come behind the back of the neck. All right, can you see that? Yeah, you can. All right, so that supports the releasing tension in the shoulders and upper back. All right, so everybody, and if you're on a chair, all you have to do is slide back a little bit so that you aren't going to slide off. Yeah, and this is, you don't want to do that, but you want to be a little upright so that for your dining room chair, you can feel your shoulder blades back behind you, maybe. And just put your hands on your thighs and just close your eyes for a minute. And if you're on the earth, with the back body resting on the earth, just close your eyes and feel. Feel whatever you feel, seated, lying down. First notice how it feels with the body resting on the earth or seated in the chair when you're not trying to do anything. And then notice your breath. Just as we begin, we start with an awareness of the breath after we've taken a good seat. So it's the same here. Notice your breath, and right now, probably, it's a little softer. After we practice yoga, oftentimes, the body senses that there's been this good movement, this good energy. So simply settle in and notice. And then notice if you're holding tension in any part of the body. And simply breathe into it. So that simply means if I feel tension in my lower back, I take a nice inhale and imagine the breath coming right down to that lower back and feeding it with energy. And as I exhale, I just let go of any holding. So you can do the same thing with anything you notice, if there's any part of your body talking to you. And then let the weight of your body soften into the earth. And since we hold tension in the face so much, soften your face, soften the forehead, the corners of the eyes, that little space between your cheeks and your nose, a little valley there. Soften the corners of your mouth. Let your tongue feel heavy. And your jaw release back towards the earth, down towards the earth. Let your shoulders, neck, and head simply release if you're sitting up. And if you're lying down, feel the lovely weight and the connection of the shoulder blades to the earth. Feel the heaviness of your hips. And whatever limbs are available to you, feel them releasing tension in the joints, in the muscles. And then we're just going to be here for a minute or two to allow everything to simply settle. And if at any time you're uncomfortable, or if you're not comfortable on your back, roll onto your side body. Cradle your head with your arm. Make whatever adjustments you need to do. And just be for the next minute or two. Just be, a sense of letting go and being. Now slowly, just begin once again to notice your breath. Breathe with a little more intention, a little bit maybe fuller inhale and exhale to start to give the body the signal that we're getting ready to transition, to move back to a seated pose. So if you're on the chair, you just slowly open your eyes. And if you're on the earth, you can move and stretch a little bit in ways that feel right to you today. And then as you're ready, bend your knees and slowly roll to the side that works for you. And again, if you have a way of getting up that doesn't involve what I'm saying, do what you need to do so that you can come up and sit in a seated pose as we come to end our little short intro class today. And on the chair, same thing. Just begin. Everybody then come back, and if it's accessible to you, hands at your heart. And then slowly, just checking in with how you feel. And if you'd like, you can join me in one Om. All right, so if you want, exhale fully this time, then inhale, and then join me. And the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, which That's what namaste means. And you'll hear that in every yoga class, mostly, yeah. And then you can bring your hands down, and then just notice how you feel. Hopefully you feel better now, having moved through some range of motion things, some warm-up kinds of things, a few standing poses, or a little bit more vigorous poses. And just notice how you feel now. And again, hopefully you feel better than when you came in. And as we say, namaste is how we end. And I like to say, namaste, y'all. So hope to see you again sometime in the Zoom rooms in the future. And take care. Bye-bye.